My girlfriend swore her best friend was family. She lied about late work nights, hiding texts. I caught her kissing him on his girlfriend's couch. Then I saw their hotel receipts. I still remember the night I met Emily Harper. It was a chilly October evening in Seattle, at an indie rock concert in Capitol Hill. The venue, Numos, was packed, the air thick with anticipation. I was there with my buddy Tom, sipping a $6 beer, when I spotted her near the stage. She wore a faded Nirvana t-shirt, her dark hair tucked behind her ears, swaying to the music like she belonged there. I don't know what made me walk over. Maybe it was the way she sang along to every lyric, like she felt the song in her bones. I leaned in, shouted over the guitar riffs, "You a big fan of these guys?" She grinned, her eyes lighting up. "Since high school." "You?" That was it. We talked through the entire set, swapping stories about our favorite bands, the concerts we'd been to, the ones we still wanted to see. By the time the show ended, I had her number. Emily, 28, was sharp, witty, with a laugh that made my chest tighten. We started hanging out, mostly with Tom and our friend group, hitting up bars in Belltown or grabbing coffee at Pike Place. There was this spark between us, you know? The kind where you feel like you've known someone forever. We'd text all day, stupid memes, random thoughts, playlists we made for each other. I'd send her a song, she'd send one back. It was easy, natural, but it wasn't official. Not yet. For 6 months, we were in this weird limbo, what people call a situationship. We acted like a couple. We'd spend weekends together, cooking pasta in my tiny apartment, watching old movies on my beat-up couch. We'd say, "I love you," after late-night talks, her head on my shoulder, the city lights flickering outside. But Emily held back. She'd just gotten out of a 3-year relationship, she said. Needed time to find herself. I got it. I didn't push. Looking back, that was my first mistake. I ignored the hesitation, the way she'd sometimes stare off, like her mind was somewhere else. She talked a lot about her best friend, Liam Brooks. They'd known each other since high school in Tacoma, went to the University of Washington together. She called him family, the kind of bond forged through late-night study sessions and shared secrets. "Liam's the one who got me through my parents' divorce," she'd say, her voice soft. Or, "He was a mess when his mom got sick, but I was there for him." I admired it, honestly. A friendship that tight? It seemed rare, pure, but I hadn't met him. Liam was in London, working some tech job, and Emily said he'd be there for a while. So, I didn't think much of it. Just stories, just her past. We kept growing closer. I'd wake up to her texts, her voice on the phone late at night, her laugh when I burned toast trying to make breakfast. I was falling hard. She'd curl up next to me, her warmth against me, and I'd think, this is it. This is what people write songs about. But there were moments, small ones, that nagged at me, like when she'd get a call and step outside to take it, or when she'd mention Liam in passing, her eyes lingering on some memory I couldn't touch. I brushed it off, told myself I was being paranoid. She said she loved me, right? That had to mean something. After 6 months, I asked her to make it official. I was nervous, my hands sweaty, sitting across from her at a diner in Fremont. "Emily, I want this to be real. You and me. What do you think?" She looked down at her coffee, stirring it slowly, then nodded. "Yeah, James, let's do it." I was over the moon. We celebrated that night, splitting a bottle of cheap wine, laughing until we couldn't breathe. I thought we were solid. I thought we were building something. But even then, I didn't see the cracks. I didn't know that the girl I loved was carrying a secret that would tear everything apart. That night at the diner in Fremont changed everything. Emily said yes to being my girlfriend, and I was on cloud 9. We moved fast after that. Within 2 months, we were splitting a $2,000 a month apartment in Belltown, Seattle. It was a cozy 1-bedroom with a view of the Sound, the kind of place that felt like a fresh start. We'd cook dinner together. Her specialty was spicy tacos. Mine was a half-decent stir-fry. We adopted a scruffy tabby cat we named Mocha, who'd curl up between us on the couch. We'd talk about the future, road trips to Oregon, maybe a house someday. I'd lie awake at night, her breathing soft beside me, thinking I'd hit the jackpot. But then she dropped the bomb. It was a Sunday morning, maybe a month after we went official. We were at the apartment, sunlight streaming through the windows, Mocha purring on the rug. Emily was quiet, picking at her coffee mug. "James, I need to tell you something," she said, her voice low. My stomach twisted. She looked at me, eyes heavy, and confessed. A month before we got together, she and Liam had hooked up. A drunken mistake, she called it, at a friend's birthday party in Capitol Hill. They'd both regretted it, swore it'd never happen again. She said she was telling me because she wanted us to start with no secrets. I sat there, frozen, the coffee going cold in my hands. It hurt, like a punch to the gut. But we weren't together then, not officially. I tried to be rational. "Okay," I said finally. "It was before us. Let's move past it." She nodded, relief washing over her face, and hugged me tight. I wanted to believe her. I told myself it was nothing, a one-time slip fueled by too many drinks. Besides, Liam was in London, thousands of miles away, working some tech job. What was I supposed to do? Obsess over a guy on another continent? So, I let it go, or tried to. Life went on. We were good, great even. Emily got along with my family. My sister Lauren loved her, said she was the kind of girl who'd keep me on my toes. We'd have date nights at Pike Place, splitting fish and chips, or drive to the mountains for hikes. But there were these moments, these tiny cracks. Emily would get calls from Liam every few weeks. "Just catching up," she'd say, stepping onto the balcony to talk. The calls would last an hour, sometimes 2. too. She'd come back inside, her mood off, quiet, distracted, like she was carrying something heavy. I'd ask, "Everything okay?" She'd smile, say, "Yeah, just miss my best friend. I bought it." I mean, they'd known each other forever, right? High school, college, all those stories about helping each other through tough times. I told myself it was normal, but the doubts crept in. I'd catch her texting late at night, her phone screen glowing in the dark. If I walked over, she'd tilt it away, just enough to make me notice. "Work stuff," she'd mutter, or "just a friend." I started paying attention. She'd mention Liam more often, little things, like how he was loving London, or some funny story from their past. It wasn't jealousy, not exactly. It was this nagging feeling, like I was missing a piece of the puzzle. I'd lie in bed, Mocha snoring between us, wondering if I was crazy for thinking something was off. One night, I couldn't hold it in. We were watching a movie, some rom-com she picked, and her phone buzzed. She grabbed it, smiled at the screen, typed something quick. "Liam?" I asked, trying to sound casual. Her smile faded. "Yeah, he's just telling me about his new place in London." She locked her phone, set it face down. "You talk to him a lot," I said, my voice tighter than I meant. She sighed, rolled her eyes. "James, he's like my brother. You don't get it. We've been through everything together." Her tone was sharp, like I'd crossed a line. I dropped it, but my chest felt heavy, like I'd swallowed a stone. I kept telling myself to trust her. She said she loved me. We had a life together, our apartment, our cat, our plans. But those calls, those texts, they were like static in the background, constant and low, messing with the signal. I didn't know it then, but I was standing on the edge of a cliff, and the ground was already crumbling beneath me. Emily's secret wasn't just a drunken night. It was a thread, pulling tighter, ready to unravel everything we'd built. 3 months ago, everything changed. Liam Brooks was coming back to Seattle. Emily got a text from him one morning, her face lighting up like I hadn't seen in months. "He got a job offer here," she said, practically bouncing. "Tech startup in South Lake Union. Isn't that wild?" I nodded, forced a smile. "Yeah, cool," but my stomach churned. Liam, her best friend, the guy she'd hooked up with, was moving back from London with a girlfriend, Sophie Bennett, a 30-year-old pediatric nurse he'd met overseas. Emily was already planning a welcome dinner at our Belltown apartment, rattling off menu ideas: roast chicken, garlic mashed potatoes, some $200 spread of wine and desserts. I offered to help, but she waved me off. "I got this, James. It's for Liam." She spent days prepping, cleaned the apartment top to bottom, Mocha dodging the vacuum like it was a monster. Emily was obsessive, rearranging throw pillows, checking the wine glasses for smudges. "I just want it to be perfect," she said, her voice tight. I didn't get it. This was her high school buddy, not the president, but I let it slide. I trusted her, or I thought I did. The night of the dinner, Liam and Sophie arrived. Liam was tall, all easy smiles and tech bro charm, shaking my hand like we were old pals. Sophie was stunning, blonde, warm eyes, a British accent that made her stories about London hospitals sound like poetry. She was kind, too, asking Emily about her job, complimenting the food, but Emily was off. She barely ate the chicken she'd spent hours roasting. Her laugh was forced, her eyes darting to Liam every time Sophie touched his arm or leaned into him. I saw it, the way Emily's jaw tightened, her fork hovering midair. She'd interrupt Sophie's stories with her own. "Oh, Liam and I used to sneak into concerts in Tacoma," she'd say. Or, "Remember that time we got lost on a road trip to Portland?" It was like she was marking her territory, proving she knew him better. I tried to keep things light, asking Sophie about her work, but Emily's vibe was a storm cloud. After they left, she turned on me. "You were awfully chatty with Sophie," she snapped, scrubbing dishes so hard I thought they'd crack. "What?" "She's nice," I said, confused. "She's a nurse, saves kids' lives. What's your deal?" Emily's eyes flashed. "My deal? You were practically flirting with her." I laughed, thinking it was a joke, but her face was stone. "You're being ridiculous," I said. She stormed off to bed, leaving me with a sink full of dishes and a sinking feeling. Things got worse. Emily started spending hours on her phone, texting someone, locking the screen when I walked by. She'd say, "Just work," or "old friend," but her eyes wouldn't meet mine. She started working late at her marketing job, coming home after 10, smelling faintly of wine. "Client dinners," she'd mumble, heading straight to the shower. Our date nights stopped. No more hikes, no more fish and chips at Pike Place. Mocha would curl up with me on the couch, but Emily? She was there, but not really. Distant, moody, like her mind was somewhere else. I tried talking to her. One night, I caught her texting in bed, her face lit by the screen. What's going on?" I asked, my voice soft. She flinched, locked her phone. "Nothing, James. You're paranoid." Her tone was sharp, cutting. "You're always on your phone," I said. "You're never here anymore." She rolled her eyes. "I'm busy. Work's crazy. Stop controlling me." That word, controlling, hit like a slap. I backed off, but the doubts grew louder, clawing at me. Then the call came. It was a Thursday, me at my desk downtown, crunching numbers for a client. My phone buzzed, Sophie's name on the screen. Her voice was shaking, tears choking her words. "James, I need to tell you something." My heart stopped. She'd gone home early, migraine pounding, and found Emily and Liam on her couch, kissing, clothes half off. Sophie screamed at them, kicked Liam out. She was sobbing so hard I could barely understand her. "I'm so sorry," she kept saying. I hung up, my hands trembling, the office spinning around me. Emily had lied, again, and this time, it wasn't a drunken mistake. It was a betrayal, cold and deliberate, and it shattered everything I thought we had. Sophie's call left me numb. I sat in my office, staring at my computer, the numbers blurring. Emily and Liam on Sophie's couch, kissing. My mind replayed her lies, late nights at work, client dinners, that work conference at a downtown Seattle hotel. I called Emily, my hands shaking. No answer. I left a voicemail, my voice low, tight. We need to talk, now. Then another, angrier. What the hell, Emily? Sophie told me everything. I texted Liam too, demanding answers. Nothing. Radio silence. I drove home to our Belltown apartment, Mocha greeting me at the door, oblivious. Emily's stuff was everywhere. Her books, her coffee mug, her scarf on the couch. It felt like a museum of a life that didn't exist anymore. The next day, Sophie texted, "Can we meet? I have more to tell you." I agreed, my gut twisting. We met at a quiet cafe near Pike Place Market, the smell of coffee and pastries doing nothing to calm me. Sophie looked wrecked, dark circles under her eyes, her hands clutching a mug like a lifeline. "I'm so sorry, James," she started, her British accent soft but heavy. "I should have told you in person." Then she laid it out, every word like a knife. She'd found texts on Liam's iPad, messages between him and Emily going back weeks, since the dinner. Emily texting during her lunch breaks, when she told me she was swamped at work. Messages about meeting up, about how seeing Liam with Sophie made Emily realize her feelings never left. The worst? Texts about a night at the Westin Hotel downtown 2 weeks ago when Emily claimed she was at a work conference. I felt sick, my coffee untouched, the cafe's chatter fading to static. Sophie showed me screenshots. Emily's words burned into my brain. "I can't stop thinking about you. Seeing you with her hurts." Liam's replies were just as bad. "I've missed you too. We'll figure this out." They'd planned meetups, sneaking around while Sophie and I thought everything was fine. Sophie said she'd noticed Liam acting off after the dinner, guarding his phone, working late at his startup. She'd trusted him, thought Emily was just his friend. "I feel so stupid," she whispered, tears spilling. I nodded, my throat tight. "Me too." I went home, my head spinning. Emily still hadn't called. I started packing her stuff, clothes, books, her stupid scented candles, shoving them into boxes. Mocha watched, confused, as I ripped through our shared life. Then Clara, Emily's sister, showed up. She knocked softly, her face apologetic. "James, I'm here to get Emily's things." I let her in, my jaw clenched. She hesitated, then spoke. "Look, Emily and Liam, they have history. High school, college, they've always been in love, just bad timing." I stared at her, disbelief boiling into anger. "So why'd she string me along? Why not wait for him?" Clara shrugged, her voice small. "Life's messy, you know." I lost it. Messy? She lied to me for months. I handed her the boxes, told her to make sure Emily never contacted me again. Clara left, and I slammed the door, my chest heaving. The lease was my next worry. We'd just renewed it, both our names on it, $2,000 a month. I called the landlord, expecting a fight. Turns out, Emily never updated her ID address. Technically, her name wasn't legally binding on the lease. A small win, but it felt hollow. I kept Mocha. I'd always been the one feeding her, cleaning her litter box. Emily didn't deserve her. I sat on the couch, Mocha purring in my lap, surrounded by the ghost of our life. Every photo, every memory, tainted. Was she thinking of Liam when we laughed over tacos? When we adopted Mocha? When she said, "I love you"? I wanted to scream, to break something, but all I could do was sit there, the weight of her betrayal crushing me. Sophie and I talked again later. She'd kicked Liam out, ended it on the spot. She told me how he tried to spin it, saying he and Emily had unresolved feelings they needed to explore, like it was some grand love story, not a knife in our backs. Sophie said they didn't even look guilty when she caught them, just startled, like kids caught stealing cookies. I blocked Emily's number, changed the locks. I was done, but the questions kept me up at night. Was our whole relationship a lie? Was I just a placeholder until Liam came back? I didn't know what hurt more, the betrayal or the fact that I'd been too blind to see it coming. After the betrayal, I was a wreck, but Sophie and I found solace in each other. We'd meet for coffee at Pike Place, swapping stories about Emily and Liam's lies. It was raw, painful, but it helped. Sophie was struggling, new to Seattle, no friends, her life upended. Her lease was ending, and she couldn't afford her place alone. My apartment felt empty without Emily, just me and Mocha rattling around. So, I offered Sophie the spare room. "Just until you figure things out," I said. She hesitated, then agreed. It made sense. Split the $2,000 rent, keep each other sane. Living with Sophie was easy. She was tidy, cooked a mean shepherd's pie, and Mocha adored her, curling up in her lap like they were old pals. We'd stay up late, watching British comedies she loved, laughing over tea she brewed just right. We talked about everything. Our hurt, our exes, our lives. She saw red flags in Emily I'd missed, like how Emily dismissed my love for hiking. I helped Sophie process Liam's cruelty, how he'd mocked her accent. It was healing, having someone who got it. Months passed, and something shifted. Our coffee runs turned into long walks along the Sound. Movie nights ended with us dozing off, her head on my shoulder. One Sunday, after our morning run in Discovery Park, we sat at a cafe, splitting a scone, and I realized I was falling for her. That night, over homemade pizza in our kitchen, I blurted it out. "Sophie, I think I'm in love with you." She froze, then smiled, her eyes soft. "Me too, James." We decided to try dating, knowing it was risky but feeling it was right. Dating Sophie was different. No games, games, no secrets. She was honest, direct, her laugh lighting up my world. We talked through problems, no eggshells. Then Emily emailed, a long, dramatic plea about her deep connection with Liam, how they were together now, living in his Fremont apartment. She asked for forgiveness, said, love is complicated. I didn't reply. Liam sent Sophie flowers, a note about destiny. She tossed them in the trash, and we ordered takeout, laughing at their nerve. Our old friend group split. Some posted sappy quotes about soulmates, tagging Emily and Liam. We rolled our eyes, blocked them, moved on. Last month, I proposed. It wasn't planned. Just us, cooking dinner, laughing over a dumb TV show. I'd carried the ring for weeks, waiting for the perfect moment. But standing there, flower on my hands, Sophie's eyes sparkling, I knew. I got down on one knee. Sophie, will you marry me? She gasped, said yes, and we called our families, her parents booking flights from London. My sister, Lauren, who hated Emily, loves Sophie. We're planning a small wedding next spring, maybe in a garden near Lake Washington, blending American and British vibes. Emily heard about the engagement through friends, sent another email, accusing us of spiteful revenge. We didn't respond. Let her think what she wants. Sophie and I know the truth. We found something real, born from pain, but built on trust. She got a job at a children's hospital in Seattle, her career thriving. I introduced her to my friends, the ones who didn't defend Emily. We cook, run, laugh, and Mocha's happier than ever. A year ago, I thought my world ended. Now, I'm happier than I've ever been. Sophie and I joke we should thank Emily and Liam. Their betrayal led me to the love of my life.